And the #1 pick was called the first game that she played, and consequentially many games since you've seen it. And so to be able to be at this pivotal moment is incredible. Indiana Fever just leaked key details on Caitlin Clark's contract, and the figures are shocking. How does this compare to her current endorsements? And is it enough to fend off competition from other parties interested in Caitlin Clark? When Caitlin Clark first came out as a basketball star, her name was everywhere. Back then, she signed a $300,000 deal with the Indiana Fever for 4 years. That sounds like a good first job pay, right? Not really, though, when you do the math. Clark will make $96,535 during the 2024 season. That sounds like a good salary until you learn it's not much more than some entry-level corporate jobs. This price seems more like a deal for a clearance item than a superstar salary. Given how electric she is on the court, how she can make half-court threes look like free throws, and how her highlight reels go viral, it looks like the Fever thought they got a good deal at Costco because Clark will only make $97,582 a year in the last year of this deal. To give you an idea of how much that is, a courtside seat at an NBA playoff game costs about the same as LeBron's Instagram post. If you're enjoying this video, please like, share, and click on the bell icon to subscribe. This is where things get interesting. The official homepage of the WNBA right now, when they announce the schedule, is a photo of Caitlin Clark. And that's it. It's only Caitlin. It's not any other players. It's not any other teams. The fact that they are seemingly leaning into her finally off the rip, leaning into her like having her front and center, is just something that I don't think that we would have seen. Caitlin Clark could become a world star, but the Fever aren't paying her a lot of money. That's why Nike signed her to an amazing $28 million endorsement deal that lasts for 8 years. That's $3.5 million per year. Just to give you an idea, Clark makes more from Nike in 1 year than she will from her 4-year starting deal put together. Don't get too comfy with a Nike deal, but imagine showing up to your day job, where you're barely breaking 5 figures, but your side hustle is a goldmine. Yeah, Clark is basically the basketball version of someone working a 9 to 5 while running a 6-figure Etsy shop. Here's the tea. Caitlin Clark's leaked contract shows the glaring pay gap in women's basketball. The fact that a generational talent like her is making less in her main job than from endorsements isn't just a side note. It's a flashing neon sign that says the WNBA needs to step it up. Clark's deal is a reflection of how the league undervalues its players. It's like drafting Steph Curry and giving him the same salary as a backup waterboy. The Fever got away with highway crime, while Nike is laughing all the way to the bank because Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a living cheat code. She shoots from distances that make NBA players shake their heads, dishes out assists like she's Oprah giving away free cars, and racks up triple-doubles faster than you can break an ankle. Her influence on the court is priceless. She doesn't just play hoops, she reinvents it. Fans show up to see her pull off circus shots, drain daggers from the logo, and leave players questioning their life choices, and the Fever is paying her less than the average annual rent in New York City. The leaked contract details have caused outrage, with fans calling out the WNBA's outdated pay structure. Social media erupted with comparisons between Clark's pay and the millions NBA rookies make. If someone as talented as Caitlin can earn a 7-figure contract in the WNBA, what hope is there for the league's future? If Caitlin Clark were an NBA player, her WNBA salary would look like a rookie deal from 1975. Instead, Clark's Fever paycheck is basically nice to have, but not what you came for. Meanwhile, her Nike deal is the real MVP. This is a wake-up call for the league. Fans are clamoring for change, wanting better pay and more respect for players like Caitlin Clark. She's not just a star. She's a franchise-altering player who draws people, sells jerseys, and puts the WNBA on the map. The Fever may have gotten Clark on a budget, but if the league doesn't adapt, it risks losing talents like her to overseas teams that are willing to pay what they're worth. Note that while Nike's endorsement checks are big, they don't fully reflect her worth as a basketball player. Clark's deal with Nike is less about her on-court dominance and more about her marketability, the hype, the brand, the social media involvement. The problem? Caitlin Clark isn't just a marketing star. She's a once-in-a-generation talent rewriting basketball history with every game she plays. When you break it down, her Nike deal is a reward for her rare triple-doubles or jaw-dropping buzzer beaters. It's a business transaction, leveraging her name to sell sneakers and gear. Clark's on-court resume is already famous. She led Iowa to the NCAA championship game, breaking records and drawing millions of fans. In the WNBA, she's a box office draw with fans tuning in just to see what impossible tricks she'll pull off next. Yet, when we compare her on-court accomplishments to her paycheck, the disparity is glaring. Nike might be paying her millions, but that promotion doesn't take into account her nightly heroics on the court. Sure, Nike's deal is amazing, but it's a side dish when Clark's basketball genius is grossly undervalued. If you think about it, Caitlin Clark is basically subsidizing the WNBA with her greatness. She's putting the league on the map, attracting global attention, and creating revenue that far outweighs her salary. Fans buy tickets, jerseys, and league passes to see her, yet her paycheck doesn't reflect her impact. It's a classic case of someone carrying an entire brand on their back while being handed a participation trophy. If you like the video, then like the video and also subscribe to the channel. To make matters worse, the Nike deal distracts from the league's failure to properly pay its players. Sure, $28 million sounds like a lot until you understand that it's not coming from the league that directly benefits from her talent. In fact, Nike is doing what the WNBA should be doing, investing in Caitlin Clark as the face of basketball's future. Endorsements shouldn't have to compensate for a league's flaws. Caitlin Clark's Nike deal doesn't absolve the WNBA of its duty to pay her what she's worth. Clark's skills aren't just useful, they're transformative. She's the type of player who elevates everyone around her, from teammates to sponsors to the league itself. Yet, her WNBA salary doesn't even come close to matching her accomplishments. Caitlin Clark's contract details show a hard truth. Even the biggest endorsement deals can't make up for a league that undervalues its players. Nike might recognize her worth, but the Indiana Fever needs to step up and do the same. If they don't, they risk losing her and players like her to organizations that will. For now, Caitlin Clark is breaking records and cashing checks, but the real story isn't her Nike deal, it's the glaring gap between her value on the court and her compensation off it. The WNBA should take notes because players like Clark don't come around often. When they do, they deserve more than a shoe deal. They deserve respect, accolades, and a paycheck to match. Speaking of paychecks, Caitlin Clark's strategy shows a masterclass in understanding timing and opportunity. While her $76,000 WNBA salary made waves, what's even more compelling are the $1 million offers she turned down. From rejecting equity in an ambitious women's basketball league to passing on lucrative deals from Ice Cube's Big Three League and European powerhouses, Clark is proving she's not just a star on the court, but a savvy strategist off it. For instance, an unrivaled women's basketball league offered her over $1 million plus equity, essentially a VIP seat on a rocket ship that could soar or fizzle. For most players, this kind of deal would be irresistible. It screams, big payday now, but Caitlin saw through the glamour. She realized the risks. What if the league doesn't succeed? What if her name gets tied to a fading project? Clark's decision to pass wasn't about fear, it was about focus. She refused to sacrifice her momentum for a gamble. Similarly, offers from Europe included seven-figure salaries and the chance to play in legendary basketball arenas. While tempting, Clark knew leaving the WNBA so soon would mean losing her place in the league she's redefining. Instead of taking instant payouts, she's building something bigger at home. By staying, she's cementing herself as the face of the WNBA, a long-term play with enormous upside. Caitlin Clark understands she's in a once-in-a-lifetime moment. She's the hottest name in basketball, a highlight reel queen, and a living brand magnet. Cashing out now might look good, but it risks cooling her momentum. Instead, Clark is leveraging her Nike mega deal and growing influence to build a foundation for sustained greatness. Imagine if Michael Jordan had settled for a quick payday early in his career instead of building his legacy. That's the road Clark is on, long-term dominance both on and off the court. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a thinker. She knows that the real money and legacy come from staying in the game long enough to control the narrative. By turning down short-term offers, she's making it clear. She's here to change what it means to be a basketball superstar. Caitlin knows she has the skill and marketability to command any deal in the future. Right now, she's focused on dominating the WNBA, growing her brand, and leaving a legacy that transcends the game. In the end, Caitlin Clark is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. By staying the course, she's positioned herself as the future of basketball, a player whose name will be synonymous with greatness. The $1 million deals will keep coming. The equity opportunities, the European contracts, and the Big Three offers, they're not going anywhere. But Caitlin Clark knows patience is her best weapon. She's planning for a future filled with championships, endorsements, and massive earning potential. In basketball terms, she's passing up a contested mid-range jumper for an open three. When that shot drops, it's game over for everyone else. Thanks you.